Welcome to Table Talk Friday, your weekly dose of D&D banter between three men in a bedroom. If you like their style, come back every Friday for another upload. Now, back to the boys.
Okay, I've been in a vibe lately. Super strong with something I've wanted to do in D&D, but I don't think we've had this since before we started Descent into Avernus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I want it so bad. And the reason is because I started playing. I'm on the 4th Ace Attorney game right now.
Okay.
And I really badly want like a full-on investigation arc. Like you guys have a thing that's going on and there's a mystery to be solved and you have to go find all the bits and pieces and put all the clues together. You know, there's always an air of mystery throughout any adventure we go on. There's always going to be an air of mystery, but it's never like, hey, your job is to solve a case. And we haven't done that since you and I were glitching 9-9, and I want it so bad.
We need to go back and actually finish that camp. I would love to play that campaign. I'd love to have someone else run it for us. I would like to run it. I don't care. I want to get back into the noir, steampunk, black and white. Oh, it was so.
You know, it's weird you say that because you voted against playing in Eberron.
Look. All those things are not necessarily Eberron. Okay, you can play that in any setting.
Right. No, you absolutely can play it in any setting, but the city of Sharn is like steampunk noir.
But do you want to play in that vibe for like 100 sessions?
No, probably not. Yeah, but that's why you got to go to other you got to go to other places in Eberron. See, now we're pigeonholed into high fantasy. Oh no.
Oh god.
I couldn't stand playing high fantasy for 10 years.
Oh. No, but I actually think back to that investigative style all the time. Back to our two characters specifically. But as soon as you started talking about a mystery and investigation we haven't done in a while, I was like, yeah, this super mysterious storm's totally not mysterious at all. We've been investigating for the last 10 sessions.
But I'm saying like someone's been kidnapped or a murder mystery or something like that, you know?
No, that would be cool. I'd like to do a Christmas one-off as a murder mystery. Like, I don't know who killed Santa or who ate the gingerbread man.
No, it should be like a dinner party theme. You know, where you know how we planned when we were in college when we did that whole murder mystery with all of our friends. What if that was the Christmas one off and it was like all of us standing in a room and you had told us before the session who did it, and it was that exact same thing but in character in D&D.
Have we done a who done it, like an actual who done it?
No, we haven't.
We need to add that onto our because remember for a while you were plowing through your bucket list of things to do, like staples in D&D, right?
Yeah.
Like you put up against some beholders. You did some interesting dragons, right? We did the whole, what was it, like the grand wizard of on top of everything that was going on. We should do some more stuff like that. I think we should pick a couple things. Like maybe we like put everything in a hat. Everyone puts one thing in a hat, like what they'd like to see, and we just kind of draw from it. Like it can even be quietly or discreetly.
And you draw from it, and you have to plan that session now.
Oh god, no! I think actually be fun.
Yeah,
I think
I could plan a good whodunit.
It's super tough, man. We did it back in the day. It's tough.
You know what's really tough is doing it in person for a room full of 30 people who all come to your RA party, and then they all come and with varying degrees of understanding as to what's going on, and then just because Patrick talks the most, he gets voted the most after an hour and a half of deliberation. And only because Patrick talks the most does he get voted out as the one who did it when it was not Patrick in any way, shape, or form.
To Patrick's defense, we were playing a butt ton of werewolf back in college.
We were.
So, now, and in that game, who did you kill first? Not who talked the most. It was Patrick. You had to kill Patrick.
Yeah, I do remember distinctly we played a long game of werewolf when you and I were the head RAs on campus. And we played a really, really long game. And who was the first person out? Do you remember?
It was either you or someone right before
It was me. I was the first person out, and it's because I spoke as soon as everybody woke up. I spoke. And as soon as I spoke, everyone was like, vote this guy out.
No, we both got voted. You got voted out earlier than I did, but we
You were
both got
voted out like
out.
2 turns after me.
It was so fast, and there was no reason for it.
No, absolutely not.
If I recall, and I could be entirely wrong, I think back to this moment periodically. I think I actually was a werewolf, but I was doing nothing werewolfy whatsoever. Like I was actively defending a couple people that were not werewolves just to like blend in. Got killed. Zero. There was just no reason for it. I think people just jumped on the bandwagon.
I was just a regular dude. I was just a regular dude trying to survive, and that was it. Okay, now, before we hop into our topic for the day, I have one more thing to tell you about from this past weekend. We had some
Okay.
friends come over, right? And we all sat down, and they had their baby along with, but the baby got up, walked in the other room, went to go take a nap. They definitely didn't get laid down to take a nap. So the baby got laid down to go take a nap. And we were like, oh, you know what we should do? We should play some cards. And I was like, guys, I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. Can we please play Coup?
No, I knew as soon as you said cards, dude.
Can we please play Coup? And we sat down, 4 of us, and we played 3 or 4 games of Coup.
No way.
And it was awesome. I loved it. Now, we don't have the Inquisitor, which was a fun role to add in back in the day. We had the Ambassador in. So a little lower quality because the Ambassador is kind of like meh. But as a whole, it was as like the game is as good as I remember, and I want to get more people to play that game with us because our friends left and they said, I'm gonna buy this whenever I'm gonna buy this game when we go home. And I was like, yes, we've indoctrinated.
I'm glad you were able to do it because I've actively tried to indoctrinate a few people into this game. And what I've learned, I don't know if maybe I'm just a bad, card coach, but it's not a game for everybody because everyone I've tried to get into it either doesn't like it or is just like, yeah. But it's such a fun game, and I don't know why people don't play it more. I'm not even good at the game. I'm not good at it, but I have an absolute blast playing it.
Yeah, I did learn because people were not lying about the rules at first, and I instantly was lying. Every time I spoke, someone went, you're lying, because I had started and not stopped. And they were like, you're lying. I got out of the first 2 games in like 5 seconds. Someone was like, I'm going to assassinate you. And I was like, you don't have an assassin. And they flip it over and I die. And then
that's a hard play, man.
I'd be like, oh, I'm going to block it with my Contessa. You don't have a Contessa. Flip, dead. And I'm like, ah!
I forgot about the double kill strat.
Yeah, it happened to me 2 games in a row. And I was just like, well, I guess I'm not playing this one.
At a super basic level for anybody listening, basically if you get caught lying, you lose a card. But also there are certain cards that will take your cards. So like the assassin would come at you and it would kill one of your cards. But if you got caught lying about your defense, you were just instantly out.
Yeah.
So there was a couple ways to just instantly knock people out if they called your bluff. So it's so panic inducing. It's like, what do you do? Do you actually call them or not?
And my wife got my favorite hand, which was dual Contessas, and she lied about her rolls the whole time, which I was like, that was my favorite thing to do, was to lie about what rolls I had and have 2 Contessas. So like, it looks like I flipped it over and lost my defense. Nope, I've got another one.
I always liked, what was my favorite hand? I liked double captains.
Oh my god,
captains block and let you steal. So that way, if someone, so you start just stealing from everybody, right? Blocking it. Everyone starts getting pissed, going, oh, does he actually have it? And then you lose one. Like, oh, he was telling the truth. But then you keep doing it. Oh, like, it's so funny.
Now,
it's just absolutely rage-inducing.
I found out very early on in this one that there were other ways to play than the way we played in college. In that it doesn't say you can't use these things on other people, like block stealing for someone else or use the Contessa for someone else. And people were doing it for each other constantly. Like, you know what? I don't like this. They would be like, I don't like Seth, so I'm going to not let him assassinate. And they'd be like, no, you can't assassinate Seth's wife. You can't assassinate Seth's friend.
I never thought to do that. I feel like that's so much.
Yeah, I checked the rules, and it doesn't say, it just says you can block assassination, you can block stealing, and things like that. So it doesn't say it has to be at you.
That's crazy, though. So if you block, oh my gosh, so if you block and the assassination goes through, does it also hit you too? Or is it just the bluff that you lose your card on?
I don't know.
Ooh. We're gonna have to play this again. I would actually like to sit down and play some Coup.
Yeah, no. I mean, well, we have Tabletop Simulator. We can play it anytime with the boys.
We should try that.
I have it downloaded on there. I can start it up right now, and we can just not record the podcast and play Coup.
Screw this podcast. Who listens to this show anyway, man? Let's go play some cards.
We can do that after we tackle today's topic, which is, you brought this to my attention today, and I was like, oh, that is a good idea. I believe you went through this past week and looked at a couple of new character sheets, if I'm not wrong.
That is correct. So I was sitting at my desk at work, and obviously, thinking about not work at the time, thinking about D&D. We missed D&D recently. I was like, oh, I want to play so bad. And I've just been thinking about a lot of the topics that we've tackled recently, kind of different ways of playing things, playing different roles, different kinds of subclasses, stuff like that. And I thought, we've never actually tried to differ the way you actually play on your paper. Now, it's not 100% true, because you, Seth, do play mostly on your phone, which we'll get to in just a minute. However, for the vast majority of people, they have a character sheet, right? And what I realized is not everybody uses the same character sheet. Now, I know there are different types of characters. I think everybody knows, like, there could be a little bit of a difference. Maybe there's like an image or something, or maybe it's like a fun Christmas sheet where it's got ornaments and it's kind of it's themed. Fine, but there are so many different types of character sheets out there right now. Some of them are official that you could download off of D&D Beyond and more official sites like that, or third person, offshoot kinds of stuff. But there's a ton of them out there, and I really started thinking about it because I've been using the same one for so long. And for you, Seth, I don't need to show you, but you know exactly what our normal sheet looks like.
Yeah.
I get really annoyed with filling out that sheet sometimes, because you fill out the same way all the time.
You don't fill anything in like flaws and values and all that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, see, sometimes I do, though. Sometimes I do. I put a little bit in there.
My first character I did, no character after that have I filled in those character blocks, like ideals,
really?
flaws.
Never? Not once?
No, like I have made full character sheets since then. Even since transferring to the phone version, I have made full character sheets on paper, and I always leave those blocks blank.
So I'm going to grab right off in front of me here, if I can actually get off the board, my active character sheet for campaign 4. I don't know if you can
campaign
see it or
3.
I
We're on campaign 3.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Campaign 3. It's super bright.
Yep,
but it does say Elwyn right there, which is my character's wife, as an ideal. I'm the ideal wife in this game. No big deal.
What's that say about real life?
Also ideal in real life. It's IRL and in game. I always have a fantastic wife.
There we go.
Shout out there. But no, like there's just a lot going on in the primary character sheet that we use. And I found out, I could be incorrect in my research here, but the character sheet we use is actually considered to be the Adventurers League sheet.
Oh.
That's what several people called it. Now, from my understanding, the Adventure League is where you kind of jump in at card shops, you kind of jump out, and they just kind of keep the campaign rolling no matter what, whether it's an entirely new group of people or, you're just replacing 1, 2, 3, whatever it may be. So that's what we use, right? Which I think is pretty straightforward. But I'm going to blow you out of the water here.
Okay.
Now, I have crapped all over the 2024 rules, right? But I'm going to jump right into this.
I don't think you have. Different. You've said that there are some things you don't like.
I've crapped a lot of it. We're not going to get into this right now. This is not the topic. It's the whole different thing. However, I'm going to show on screen here for you, Seth. I'm going to even turn my little light off so you can see a little better. Maybe.
Okay.
This is the 2024.
Okay, so what I'm looking at, it's very similar. They have, instead of in one column, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, they're in like little blocks with their skills separated underneath them, which I like so much more because it separates them without you having to figure it out or memorize it yourself. And then that middle column is pretty much the same as the Adventurers League one that we've seen before. And then on the right is a bunch of other stuff that I probably wouldn't fill in. But
I disagree, man. I think this is super different, and I just sent you a copy over Discord so that you can peek at it yourself as well over this. It's nice and clean. But this sheet, so, does it cover the same things? Obviously, it's still the same game. They're still going to hit on, all of your modifiers, your levels, your HP, stuff like that. But I really like this sheet a lot. I think it organizes it really well.
Okay.
I think it adds some extra things to your sheet that you like to have and end up writing in the corners and the margins of your sheet, on the back if you don't have a spell casting sheet, that kind of thing, right? I think it groups it together really well. Now, I know a lot you guys can't see this out here. Feel free to obviously pull it up if you'd like. But just to draw a picture, it pulls up everything on the sheet we currently use, which is the Adventurers League sheet. It just makes it look nice. It adds a nice
like the
design.
condition block too, up at the top, where it says like blinded, frightened, paralyzed, all of that. That's really nice.
It is really cool. Now, I gotta ask. So let me just kind of like run through the sheet a little bit here. So on the top left, you have the character name, background, species, pretty much the same thing. I don't remember if we end up calling it species in the new rules or not. I can't remember what
they
call
do.
It.
They don't call it race, they call it species. But I mean, that's a small change.
So you got the level, and you have an XP bar, which is pretty cool. You've never had an XP bar, not that we run XP, but it's
is there
nice
not on the Adventurers League one? I thought it says XP somewhere.
Not that I'm aware of.
Really?
Maybe I've never looked at it before. Let me look here. No.
Okay. I know when in our first game that we ever played, we used that character sheet and we wrote our XP, I think, next to where it says like class and subclass. Or maybe next to level.
Oh, it does have experience points in the top right.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. But it doesn't feel nearly as cool. Look at this new sheet.
No, it looks really good. Cool, they have level and XP right up there at the top middle.
Also, do you ever actually look back at the top right of your sheet after you write down the first time? You don't need anything up there. Nothing's important. You know your background. You know your character's name. You know your race. You're not looking up there. And realistically, every time you level up, are you really erasing that little spot where it says cleric 1 to 2?
Right.
No one's doing that, right? So that's really cool. Very, very small change, right? But the hit points, I think, breaks up really nicely. You have the current, you have the temp, and you do have the max slot. You do have the hit point maximum on the original sheet as well at the very top. But it feels a little cleaner on this sheet. The hit dice, you have the spent and the max, which is cool. I've always thought on the old sheet that the hit dice box was a little confusing because I never actually know what to do. So on the total, I normally put like, if I'm a 10th level cleric, I put 10. And then below it, I put, D8, D10.
Yeah, that's what I always did too. Right?
But I don't think everybody thinks that way. And this actually breaks it up just a little. It's just making things a tad bit more user-friendly, especially since
it's easier on the eyes too.
It really is. It's much easier to look at, and it's more appealing. It makes me feel happy.
And you know what they don't have? A big section that says flaws, ideals, things like that I don't ever write in.
That is, see, maybe that's a flaw in itself, though, removing the flaw section. So
no. I think that if you write that stuff before you've played your character, that you're doing it wrong. Because you normally have an idea in mind, but it doesn't come out till the game has started.
I think that's true, but you could have some built-in mechanics or built-in ideas, foundations for your character. So, for example, you and I have talked about my wife in campaign 3 and the role that she plays.
Yes.
And, that's why I specifically wrote her down almost as an anchor for my character, right?
Yeah.
You can look at it, feel it, get back immersed, and know how to kind of play through your role. But, a lot of people probably don't do it. Similar to on the Adventurers League sheet, there is technically, I think, 3 pages, if not more. I always print page 1 and 3, which is the primary sheet and the spell casting sheet.
Yes.
But page 2, I believe, has like biographical information.
A spot for you to draw a portrait.
No one's doing that. I'm not drawing a portrait of my character. And I
can tell you there are people who have done that many times.
By all means, but am I going to grab a whole extra sheet to carry around with me in my D&D sessions?
No, ideally you would do that front and back, but if you can just front and back that in the spells, then you're good.
Yeah, but there's no room. And the spells take up the entire back of the sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not send. I'll have to send it to you. The back of the sheet is very appealing as well, but I'll send it to you in a minute. We'll get there. I love on this new sheet, they have not only your armor class, but on the bottom, they actually have a bubble for shield. So now you don't have to draw a little / backslash, whatever it may be. Remember if you're using your shield or not. You can actually fill it in. I guess if you wanted to erase it, you could.
That is nice.
I guess the question here is maybe a similar situation. If that's the case, if you have the AC box and a shield bubble, do you put in your maximum AC on the top? Or do you put in your lower?
I think if you bubbled in shield, you add 2 for that, and you don't worry. Like, if you bubble that, I think it would depend on the person, but I would put in my base AC and then bubble in the shield and remember that shield is +2. Is what I would do.
I agree. Because it tells you right there you are shielding, and if you're an experienced player in any capacity, you know that a shield gives you +2 AC. So you're good to go there. But I like the option to bubble it in. Keeping it moving, the one thing I don't like about the sheet right now that stands out to me is you have the initiative, you have the speed, you have the size, the passive perception. Initiative feels not as forefront on the previous one any longer, which is problematic because you're always looking at your initiative. You're always in a fight, right? But on top of that, you also have your size right there. Size does not matter in the D&D game that we play. That we play here at our table.
Well, it has lately, actually, when it comes to like grappling and shoving and stuff like that, because they've been like, hey, if I cast enlarge, am I going to be medium? Is it going to be effective on this size person? I'd say it has come in handy there, but you're right. In the way that we typically play, it doesn't come up a lot.
If you get enlarged, let's say someone casts enlarge or reduce on you, are you writing on your sheet that you're enlarged or reduced?
No.
Never once have I done that.
No.
Ever. You're just going to know. You're just going to know in the moment. So you don't need this big old, like, especially a forefront option right here towards the top of the page. You don't need that size. It's just not necessary. Super cool. Weapons of damage cantrips. It gives you, not only does it say weapons, but it actually says cantrips. So you could actually throw some of your higher used magic in here if you're a wizard, warlock, whatever.
Which I did before.
But it doesn't tell you to do that. So for a brand new character, when you don't know, it's like, oh, I'm not going to write. You're going to go into the spell casting sheet. You're going to write your cantrip in the little confusing
and have to
spot
remember exactly what it does. Yeah,
exactly. So it's nice and easy to write it there. And on top of that, they have a notes box. A notes box for the weapons of damage cantrips. You can write down, this is magical. I got this in this town. I got it in Tribor. This guy gave it to me. This is my father's ancient ring. Whatever you want. Maybe
or any extra effects it might have. Like, hey, this is a +1 weapon. It does X effect whenever you swing with it.
Mm-hmm. Hell, if you're a new player, maybe it's a Vorpal sword. You don't know what a Vorpal sword does, and you write down the page number of the book that you could find it in. So you could just quick scroll to it.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan. Now, let me say something about this sheet, and it's that I think the class features box is very nice, right? I always like having the class features box be nice and big where I can write everything. My huge problem, and the reason I end up using my phone a lot of times, is because I don't want to spend all the time writing every feature I pick up from every level, because this was a huge problem in any edition of D&D I've played, where I've gone in there and been like, okay, at first level I get a class feature, but then I get a subclass feature at this level, and you have to flip between different parts of the book all the time. Or if I'm using Tasha's, I have to go to this specific page in Tasha's and check if I got something at level 4, or check if I got something here, and then write it in there, and not really knowing what's going to pop up and when. So I always, literally in any of my character sheets, I'm not filling in class features, and I'm just looking out of the book before the session and being like, what can I do? Let me make a plan for what I'm going to do in combat, because no way would you ever get me to sit down and sort out a sheet in the way that you're supposed to and write all my features on there, unless I'm just writing 2 words like uncanny dodge. I'll write that, and then if I don't know what that does, I'll look it up. Like, I'm not going to write out uncanny dodge, half damage as a reaction. I'm just going to write uncanny dodge because there's not enough space in any character sheet for me to write everything I want to.
Unless you're our friend Zach, who writes like one of those monks that write Bible verses on grains of rice.
Yeah.
Where he actually goes, I think he actually writes every single thing down. I could be wrong, but I've seen his sheets and it goes top to bottom. It's ridiculous.
Yep. I've seen him too. It's extensive.
So as you level up, let's say you get to a higher level character. Let's say you're going to play like a little 18 character or something like that. You're getting up there.
Yeah.
Are you going to sit and write those abilities?
No.
I know there's no way you're going to remember them all.
No. What I'm going to do is, I have this thing called 5th edition character creator. I have had this for the last 7 or so years. I think my first year or 2, I did not have this. But this is a third-party app that my friend Lanky Eric told me about back in the day. He used this, and he said, hey, Seth, if you don't like spending all your time on your character sheet, you should, pay I think it was like $5 to get it where you could actually level your characters up. You can make a level 1 character for free. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll try it out. I'll spend $5 because I didn't have any idea what money meant when I was in college. And so I was like, Yeah, sure, I'll spend $5. And so I did, and I have been using this app ever since. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely not. It's third party, so they don't have the correct wording for a lot of the things. You just have to remember, or you can do what I do, and that's where it fills in. It shows what it does. Like one of these things doesn't say the name of the ability, it just says as a reaction, you can deal 1d4 necrotic damage to a creature that moves or starts its turn within 10 feet unless it makes a con save. This is a Spores Druid thing. I would look up the name of that, and then I would just backspace a lot of that and fill that in with the correct, or name the ability if I need to remember it. But a lot of times I just read what it says at face value because it is telling you to do the correct thing. It just isn't worded the same as in the books. But yeah, I've been using 5th edition Character Creator for the last 7 years. It gets updated with any new stuff that comes out. Sometimes they add some third-party stuff in there. But I currently have 20 to 30 characters just ready to all in here from our last, forever of playing. And I could do 2 taps really quick. It pulls it up and it auto fills in all that information that is in your features section. That's what I like about it. There's a section for me to manually add spells. If you choose a class that includes spells already, it automatically puts those spells in the spell list, so you don't have to worry about that. Automatically does your spell attack modifier, your DCs, initiative, everything. Sometimes, because we play a little bit differently, we play in our own way, I have to go in and manually here in this section, I'll have a weapon that's or I'll be allowed to use a weapon I wouldn't be allowed to use under normal D&D rules, right? I can't really wield this 2-handed sword, but the DM said I could, so I'm going to. So I have to manually add in the rules around that and stuff. All of that is only a couple of clicks though. Would I recommend people spend $5 on this? No, probably not. I think that I have a good grasp around it because I've been using it for 7 years, but I have not done the due diligence of researching how D&D Beyond works or how any of the other apps out there work. There has to be a better one than what I'm doing. I'm only doing it because I know how this app works and someone 7 years ago told me to. That's the only reason. So I actually would not recommend you go out and spend $5 on 5th edition Character Creator, but it is what I do and I quite like it.
That's crazy you don't recommend it after using it for years and years though. You don't think people would get the hang of it and really enjoy it?
I just think that especially if you're new like I was, it is difficult to know some of the abilities that are listed. Whenever it fills in automatically and I go and click all these things, there's a lot of manual, not a lot, okay? Not a lot compared to making a character for real on a piece of paper. It is still substantially less work. But there is some if you asked an AI to code an app for you, right? There's going to be a lot of little mistakes in there that you have to go back and fix as the software, like a coder. That's what I do when this thing auto fills in class abilities for me. When I click it and it pulls up their third-party wording, I go in there and I look at it and go, that doesn't sound right to me, and I fix it. We interrupt this regularly scheduled broadcast to tell you about patreon.com/Table Talk Friday, where you can get post shows from the boys every single week. Sometimes they talk about their personal lives, sometimes they talk about gaming, and sometimes the conversation just continues where it left off. So go check out patreon.com/Table Talk Friday now.
I am what's known as what I would call a boomer. And I don't enjoy going on my phone and trying to manually fix all the little tweaks, all the little errors that the app makes.
But you would be super OCD about it.
I know. I would. which is why, for me, and I have a weird hybrid system as we talked about, but if I'm building my character on paper primarily, like I used to and did up until recently, I really like to build it out. I like to make it look really clean. I like to kind of divvy it up. I like to draw, if we're in the, what do you call it? The features and traits section, which is one of the larger parts of the sheet. I'm getting a ruler. I'm drawing lines. I'm doing bullet points. I'm making it really clean. I want my character to be nice and organized so that in the heat of the moment when you're playing your character, you could focus on being your character and not trying to figure out how to do it, right? I want to be immersed. I want to be in the actual dramatic cinematic that we're in right? And it's difficult to do that when you don't know what you're rolling. You can't find something on your sheet, like, oh, let me check that ability again. Not that you can't. It's just much more fun when you're streamlining it.
And that's why normally, like before a session, because of the character sheet and the way it works, which, you know, to hit up our topic a little bit more, that character sheet, yeah, if you're making a new character right now, just for anybody who might be making a character for a campaign soon, use the second one, the 2024 D&D one, because that one was pretty sick. You can download that. What you said, it was off of D&D Beyond?
Yeah, so if you go on to the D&D Beyond regular website, you pull up, I think it's like official sheets. It's really literally just do a Google search. It comes right up. It gives you a couple options of things to download. One of them is actually not the one that we use, funny enough.
Okay.
But they do list the 2024 official one right there, as well as I think 3 or 4 others that I didn't even recognize. I still need to look through some more. But when I looked through them, by far, I thought the 2024 one was the best one there. So I actually will be using this sheet, I think, going forward.
Nice.
I think I'm gonna actually rebuild my character on the 2024 sheet, which of course, you know, won't change anything about my character per se, but it'll change the organization of it. I'm gonna give it a go. I dropped, when I sent you the PDFs here to look at, I actually dropped it in our group Discord. I'm hoping the boys will look at it, take a peek, and maybe give it a little tries.
Yeah, no, I think that one does look a lot cleaner. Now, I am not a person who has to make characters very often because I don't end up playing nearly as often. I'm currently DMing our 3rd big campaign, and I did make a character recently for Patrick's 30-session campaign he didn't tell us about. But
1 minute of prep per session.
We had literally 1 minute prep. Like, I quickly made this character, Circle of Spores Druid. Like, oh yeah, you know what? I'll play a Druid for this one-off. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to be playing this Druid for a while. I guess I'm going to be playing it for a while. But yeah, so I may fill out one now that I know it's going to be longer for my character. When I was planning on making a campaign character we were going to play in person with some friends a while back, I actually filled out a full-on piece of paper for my character Elijah that we didn't end up even playing. But, you know, maybe for this one for Patrick, I will fill out a piece of paper. But you know what's going to make that tough? If I ever do travel out and we play in person, I'm not going to bring the paper, so I'm still going to need a digital version. No, I'm just going to use the digital version. I'm not going to I'm going to get my paper all wrinkled, taking it with me to put it into my suitcase. No. I'm already going to have my phone. So I can just...
folder. You can put it in a little folder.
That's going to take up room in my bag. I need to be able to fit my Nintendo Switch 2 and my AYN Thor. Yeah, you see, that's like a whole, what? That's like a third of a centimeter, maybe like a few millimeters of space. Yeah, I'm going to need that in my packing list.
Well, the last time we talked on the podcast, we talked about how you carried around 6 consoles with you. So you could probably only bring 4 consoles with you.
That was rough, and we will be talking more about that in the post show today because I have resolved that issue somewhat, and I'm very excited to talk more about it. But Drew, do you have anything to wrap us up on the terms of character sheets? Did you have like other recommendations for them? Because I know you brought a couple.
Yeah, I actually have a couple, and I'll send a couple of them into the Patreon for anybody that pops in. But I sent you that one, and frankly, the 2024, after scrolling through them, is the best one. The one thing I'll say I'm an organization freak. I literally one of those guys likes going to Staples and just daydreaming about things I can do with my office, like with random organizers and folders and stuff. I love this stuff. It's organization porn is what it is. The one thing I'll bring up that is extremely different on all the sheets, everybody mixes it up in different ways, is the actual grouping of the abilities.
Like the stats?
The sheet that we use, yes, the Adventurers League one, just lists all of them in, I think it's alphabetical order, which now that I'm looking at it and all these other sheets, that's the worst way to do it. Do not list it in alphabetical order. I don't know why anybody would do that. It's not a good order to do, right? But a lot of the sheets break it up in a bajillion different ways, whether it's like horizontal.
Wait. I want to challenge you on that. It can't be in alphabetical order. It's strength, dexterity, wisdom, intelligence. Or
look at your skills, though.
Oh, you're talking about skills, not on the... Okay, I thought you meant the actual ability. Okay, never mind. As I was.
So, I'll even backstep. I did say the abilities. On the 2024 sheet, they are in a different order than the regular character sheet, and I can't believe they did that. It blows my mind every time I look at the sheet. I think I'm actively exploding on the inside. It doesn't make. Why would you put intelligence at the top? Strength belongs at the top of my sheet. And if
Yeah,
it's not there.
I agree.
I actually want to cry.
And if you're going to
so
list them side by side like that, you may as well have strength and dex next to each other at the top.
Yes,
because then
yes,
if dex is
absolutely.
right there on the right next to it, that's the other major damage dealing one. And also it includes initiative.
Completely agree. And you know what? Realistically, to your point, just put those two together. The only other requirement I have is charisma must be on the bottom.
At the bottom. Yeah, I was
If
thinking the
charisma
exact
bottom,
same thing.
jump off a cliff. There's zero chance my charisma is going anywhere else besides the bottom of my sheet. But they did that in 2024, which I appreciate. But this is all goes into it. Grouping. Big piece of this. If you're going to pick your sheet, I'll wrap this up, I promise. If you're going to pick your sheet, pick a sheet that works for you visually, even if it's not what everyone else is using at the table. Because if you look at the sheet and you don't know where to look, or it upsets you that wisdom is in the wrong spot, you're going to have a rough time in the heat of combat trying to make things work in a lickety-split fashion. The 2024 groups the abilities by their actual core stat.
Yes.
So strength only has athletics with it. Intelligence has like arcana and history and so forth. Throws me off, but I think I like it. So, but that's it. Enough of my opinions. Go out there, check out some sheets. Look at specifically the 2024 one, but look at things like the Adventurers League one. Look at some fun ones with some Christmas decor. You could even get I'll throw it up there for Seth here. You could even get the Adventurers League one with little extra pictures on it. No dragons. You have a little city. You have little bats and stuff on the side. Super cool stuff. Or heck, make your own, guys. Just live your dream.
Write it in a notebook. Write it in a notebook. Draw it yourself, and then you don't have to worry about anything. You made that character sheet.
God, that sounds like a terrible time. It really sounds like.
I've seen people do it. Just write it out in a notebook, and they just write all the stuff down instead of having the printed one. But yeah, you're right. It's highly inefficient. Thank you for listening to this episode of Table Talk Friday. Remember, you can get our awesome post show where we're going to talk about my habits when it comes to my handheld consoles on the post show today. So go to patreon.com/tabletalkfriday and check that out for a solid $5. But that's not happening right now. So with that, I need the almighty creator of characters to take me out.
Hey guys, I'm Arceus. I actually created all the characters of the world. That is, if you're in the Pokemon universe. And this is actually what Arceus sounds like, just exactly like Drew in that podcast you guys are watching. So, pick up a Pokemon game or something, or I guess watch some more episodes of the podcast. I don't know. Live your life.